Hey everyone, Christian here from CK Wraps. I'm going to show you how to wrap this wheel face in Vivid's luster red chrome. This is luster red chrome, not satin red chrome. You can mistake the names. I mean, technically it is a satin red chrome, but this is an actual chrome with a matte laminate, while there are satin red chromes out there that are just kind of like a metallic looking red. This film is much more difficult to work with than a satin red chrome for the most part. But I mean, all kind of depends on what you want to call it. You could call it frozen red or whatever. You can see it on the Mercedes behind me. Car looks great. So all we're doing on this wheel is we're wrapping the wheel face. We don't need to use knifeless tape, so this is very basic. We have a black canvas to work on over top, so it's great. It leaves a black background, as you can see it on the wheels right there. That it just kind of adds, it brings a little color into the wheels as well. So it gives it that matching appearance with still some aggressiveness with the black behind it. So, I mean, you could technically do color over any color wheel, I suppose. I mean, most wheels these days are like a silver or a gunmetal finish. So they're not too bad. The contrast shouldn't be too bad. Wrapping an entire wheel in vinyl, especially in chrome, would be quite a task. So we're just doing the wheel faces because there's extreme limits to this film. And it does the job of looking great with the vehicle. So I've already prepped this surface with isopropyl alcohol, same way you prep any surface on the vehicle. I've also taken extra care to clean the rubber itself and blow away all the contaminants that might be laying around in the tread or anything like that, so we're not drawing in anything when we remove the backing paper. These wheels have just been powder coated, but I can see some imperfections here. There's one right here. There's a couple around. They're very minor, but unfortunately that's what happens kind of when you take your car to other places. They don't always do the best job. It's still a nice job regardless. These wheels were actually red before, which is kind of funny, so they would have matched the car already, but now they're going to match 100% because we're actually wrapping them with the same color. Alright, so make sure you have everything you need ready. We have a heat gun, squeegee, our 9mm 30-degree blade, and a wrap glove. We're going to need all those, and all we're going to do is take the film, put it over top, and we're going to start removing the backing paper. You'll notice that there's a bit of glue here. It's actually just left over from the tape that we used to roll the vinyl up. So that comes off with a little bit of isopropyl afterwards. Not a big deal, but just in case you see it, I'm just telling you what that is. And we already know that there are some imperfections in the surface of the rim. So we want to try to not move, I'm actually going to get off the chair, to not move this around when we're drawing the backing paper off, because that will reduce our chances of drawing in any contaminants from the rubber itself. Okay. So again, we're going to be gentle when we roll it off. Hold one end down while I pull here. That way we're not pulling the whole sheet right off. Okay. So we have it off. We're going to have to reposition this. We're going to glass it slightly. So try not to move it too much, but we do have to move it a little bit. Because we do have to glass this. All right. So we're going to start by tacking down some of these spokes, so we can find them by pulling down on the vinyl. You want to pull back on the film just a little bit, just add a little bit of tension. And this will help with the glassing process. So this is glassed right now. We're very smooth across the board. You can't take this film and lay it in first and stretch outwards. That would be a more practical way to do it, or a more common way to do it. With the rear wheel on this is the front wheel. With the rear wheel, it's more concave. So this takes an extreme stretch. So we have to make sure when we're heating the film that we're heating very consistently all the way around. I'm going to show you that right now. I did have my wrap glove, but that's the most common thing that I always misplace. So I'll grab it right now. All right. So we're going to get that ready, and we're going to start adding some heat. So this film, it really only likes to bond to large surfaces. Small spokes like this, it can be quite challenging, and we're uncertain of how long it's going to last on the wheel face. I typically don't warranty wheel faces when I wrap them because it's not a stationary part of the car. It takes a lot of wear and tear, and you just never know what's going to happen. So I don't warranty them, but people do want them done, and the only time it really makes sense is when you want to match your car. You can get into wrapping your wheels black if you want them black. It's just a really long process for the most part. So we're going to get to it right now to make this not a long process. So we're going to heat up a large area here. I want to keep the heat gun moving, especially when I'm using chrome. But if you're using a regular film for this, it won't be too much of a concern. So you can kind of heat a regular film a little bit more aggressively, while this will only take so much. So I'm just feeling out the film, feeling how soft it is. And I'm pushing down little by little. Okay, I'm going to push down right now. And I'm going to start getting these spokes down here. Okay. Could use a wrap glove on my other hand, that would help a little bit, but I'm not. So we're gonna add a little bit more stretch here. Again, not too much. You just gotta come down a little bit more. And there's the spokes, there's kind of the end there where they all start to join. Try to use my hand with the wrap glove on it. All right, so what this comes down to in the end is making this look pretty. It's going to be very hard to make this look pretty, especially cutting around the holes for the wheel lugs. Now they're black inside, so we don't have to worry about wrapping right in there. If you're covering up a wheel that's yellow with red, yes, you're going to have a lot more work to do, but we're wrapping a wheel that's black, so we don't have to really wrap inside of those wheel lug holes. I'm going to go over this a little bit more with some more heat. I'm going to push down in the center here, and this is where the center cap goes, and what I want to do right now is cut this out. So be very, very careful because we're doing all this freehand. I don't want to cut the rim. So I'm cutting out this center cap area because this is allowing some tension release here. Okay, put that right in the middle, get it out of there. Now we have a little more slack, which is great because now we're working around this center cap piece. So again, we're going to stretch down a little bit more. Always, when we're adding stretch, making sure it's as consistent as possible. We're not overstretching one area, or not adding enough stretch to one area and then adding too much stretch to another area. So we want to make sure we're going all the way around, constantly, all the time, making sure that we're being thorough and consistent in the stretch. Okay. So for all of these now, I'm going to trim off some excess here. Just a bit too much. All right. What I want to do is cut out, I'm going to cut out some U shapes here. I'm cutting them out this way so that when I pull on the film, if I have a sharp line here, there's a chance I can rip it all the way down, so we don't want that to happen. So this is where, like I said, vinyl wrapping wheels is a very tedious process. We don't need knifeless tape to do this one, because I'm going to show you how to cut these spokes out by just running the back of your blade on the spoke, on the edge of the spoke, without causing any harm at all. So bear with me while I get some of this done. I lift the film up so that I don't cut the rib. There's one of the imperfections I was talking about right there. I was feeling it out, but that's one right there. And I can even show you right now, just in case you don't believe me. That is embedded in there. I'm not sure how well the camera will focus, but you can see that right there. That's showing through the film. Okay, so it's right there. Unfortunately, but that's all right. So the reason why I'm cutting these out is because what I want to do is I want to pull them and stretch them around just slightly so we have them curve around the top portion over here a little bit nicer. So just like that. That's all we need. We don't need a lot, we just need a little bit. It's not going to pull back. I've added like 0.5%, maybe 1% stretch. It's not much at all. Just enough to conform it around the spoke. Okay, let's finish out cutting the rest of these out. And then we're going to get to the center part. Always be steady with your blade, you don't want to slip. And we'll do these last one here and then stretch the rest of these over top of the spoke. Came off a bit. Okay. I'm just going to go over with a bit of heat. What I'm doing right now is activating the adhesive. So now that we're there, what we need to do is cut out these lug nut holes. So what I do is I add tension here. And I'm going to run the back of my blade along the inside of that hole right there. Okay? And I'm pushing down so I can get a feel for where the edge of that is. Because I know that they curve in around the bottom right here. Okay. So again, I'm going to push down over here. I'll push it all the way through. And I'm going to find this edge. Sorry, there's probably not a lot of room to get a camera in there. So that's one. We'll add a little bit of heat and we'll smooth it all out afterwards. But the cut will be straight. Actually, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a relief cut right here. Okay, now I can push down in there a little bit more, and I can push down in there a little bit more. I'll do another relief cut right here just so you can see what I mean. So if I do a relief cut, be very careful not to cut the rim. I can push down a little bit easier here. And I can find that edge. Because there's a lot of tension build up right now. Okay. And again, one more here. Cool. So I'm not going to add any heat right now. I'm just going to do this while it's cold because it's easier to cut when the vinyl is cold and firm. I'm just going to need my squeegee. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you from this side. I'm going to start pushing down a little bit here and tucking this right into here. Okay? We're going to trim away some of that excess, and this requires cutting on the rim. So this is going to be a test of your skill and to not to cut your wheel. You can probably put some knifeless in there. Really tedious to get in there with knifeless. So a lot of guys who do wheels, they're going to be putting a blade to the wheel at some point. We just got to be really careful. So when we score the vinyl, when we cut the vinyl, we're actually only scoring the vinyl, and then we're tearing the film across that score. So I can just get this in here without even using any heat really. And we're just wrapping up to that edge because the center cap is black and it all kind of flows really nicely together. It's got a little air in there. Just going to really lift that. There we go. All right. So let's finish off here and here. Grab, hold on to the film a little bit to add a little tension while I cut. Okay. And I'm going to take the blade and score right in the recess there. I'm going to dig this out. You can use tweezers to dig stuff out. I didn't even actually cut the vinyl enough, so I'm going to have to go over it again. So that's how lightly I'm cutting the film. And it's actually a higher risk to go over it again afterwards, so I have to be extra careful because I didn't get it right the first try. And do this a second try. Perfect. Again, I'm just going to finish this one off here. Back of the blade on the inside of this edge right here. I can feel my blade starting to get a little bit dull, so I'm going to get a fresh one. Go through this edge again, really gently. Perfect. Just gonna get this mess out of the way so we can start seeing what that looks like. I'm gonna snap off a blade right now. And continue what I was doing here. Move my body here. one more left. This piece is not down enough. There we go. I want to make sure I push it down before I cut. Switch around a little bit more. And then get rid of that. Okay. I'm going to take a bit of heat. Clean it up. There's one piece here that I didn't cut off yet. Perfect. So if my wife Christina wants to give you a face down on what that looks like here, so we can look to see the camera facing down on the wheel. Everything looks nice and clean, okay? We'll pop the center cap back in there. It's all black. It's gonna look great. So now we've got to cut out the spokes. Super easy. This is not that challenging. Take your blade. You're gonna find a starting point, okay, very carefully, and run it on the edge of this spoke, okay? Do not stick your blade out like 3-4 inches. We only want a couple of clicks out so that we're not cutting into anything. Okay. Back of the blade along here. I'm adding tension here with my thumb. It's always easier to cut when there's a bit of tension. Same deal, we're just gonna go all the way around all of these spokes. It's good times. My back is extremely sore after doing this because I'm just, as you can see, I'm hunched over the whole time. I could put this on a table. Our table is actually full of stuff right now, so I'm doing them on these mats on the floor right now. Super careful, take your time, no rush. Okay. What you don't want to do is mess up at this point because we've worked so hard. So always take your time. For the top, I'm just cutting straight. I'm cutting straight across the top of the blade, of the spoke. Get some of this out of the way. After this, we're going to go over all the edges with heat. Flatten them down a little bit because they do protrude very slightly. So we're just going to round them off so that everything's nice and round. But everything should be pretty much very straight. Based off of how we're cutting, we're just running our blade along the edge. So you don't really have a choice but to be straight. We're getting there. We're going to see this completed project in just a moment. See a little nick here. Just gonna shave that off. Perfect. I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait till I'm done. This is exhausting. So depending on the style of your wheel and the color that it already is, this process is going to vary. We can see this is more or less doing it the easy way. So you can see how tedious it would be if we were to cover this entire wheel with this color. It probably wouldn't even work. I can't bend the chrome into the windows in between here properly. So it just wouldn't work with this film. All right, I'm gonna go over this with some heat, clean it up right now. So we started on this spoke. We gotta make sure we come back to this in the end. So this is like, we're kind of post-heating all these edges right now, and we're cleaning it up. We're rounding it all off really nicely. So it's killing two birds with one stone. Always try to lead with the heat gun, that way you don't burn yourself, but the wrap glove is good at resisting heat. So. Again, we don't want to burn the chrome. There's still a chance that we can burn the chrome. So by holding the heat too long in one spot, we could burn all these edges and they basically start to show like pink almost. We don't want that. My heat gun is on the highest setting, but we gotta keep it moving, that's all. So once I finish this one off, I'm gonna have my beautiful wife Christina show you what these spokes look like from the sides, from the top, from wherever other angles you can get. That way you can see what everything looks like in the ends. I'll even pop the center cap back in, so you can check that out too. All right, let's grab the center cap. These are nice wheels. They're EXO luxury wheels. They're actually beautiful wheels. So we left a little bit of gloss black in the center. There's matte black on the cap. Not sure if it comes that way or not. You can see everything up nice and close right there. You can see all those edges are nice and straight, which is the key to doing this. Because if we're gonna be doing just the wheel faces, everything's gotta be looking perfect. So it looks pretty awesome. Perfect. All right. So we've got a wheel face wrapped on this huge 22-inch EXO luxury wheel. It's a really nice wheel. Got a really nice wrap on it. It matches the car. Looks fantastic. Like I said, we don't know how long this is gonna last. Could last like, I know I'm sweating, it's hot. Sorry. That's what happens when you work hard. We don't know how long it's gonna last. Could last 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. I warranty that or not. I do warranty the full car. I just don't warranty wheels because we just don't know how they're gonna be treated. Anyways, thanks for everyone who's following. Be sure to check out our Instagram, Facebook. You're already on our YouTube, so thank you for that. If you want to see more videos, please subscribe. We've got other things coming. Always leave comments on what you're looking for. We'll always try to get around to those things. Motorcycles, I know it's a big thing. I haven't had any bikes come in yet, but I promise you when a motorcycle does get in here, we're going to wrap it and I'm going to show you how. All the other things you guys want to see, please list them off because I do keep them in mind and I do pay attention and I do try to get back to you. Anyways, thank you. Take care.